Hi everyone, so I'm going to try to make this video as simple as possible. I honestly talk about this topic forever. I should probably just discuss what my definition of self-love is and why I feel like it is everything. I thought it would be appropriate to set a solid foundation of why I even feel that self-love is so important, and that's such an understatement. It is the single thing that we have control over in this world, because everything is constantly changing around us, and the only thing that will remain constant is the love that we feel inside of each and every one of us. How we feel about ourselves dictates every relationship we have, how we show up in those relationships, how we show up in our lives. I guess I could first start off with how I came to this point of being curious on what this whole thing was. When I was 15, I had my first relationship, and that lasted 4 years. Right after that, I pretty much started another relationship, and that lasted another 4 years. So I was 15 to age 23. In those two relationships, they were great guys. However, I was crazy and I was really insecure, and I projected that onto my partner. All the fights we had were because I was so insecure and jealous and always comparing myself to other people. No matter what those guys did to make me happy, it just wasn't enough. I would get mad if they even looked at another girl, if they had any cute girlfriends, if they were watching a TV show and someone cute came on TV and they didn't look away. I was crazy. I was so insecure, and I would blame the other person all the time for why I felt that way. When I was about 22, 23, my partner at the time did everything I asked. I basically told him that he needed to fix all his issues in order for me to be happy. He went to anger management for me. He even started treating me exactly how I wanted to be treated, or how I thought I wanted to be treated. That's why I feel like I was on the fast track to learn this lesson. I had a great guy that did everything he could possibly do to make me happy. I had great friends, a great family, everything. The foundation of a great life was set in front of me, and I still found myself depressed, even sometimes suicidal. That's when I realized I must be the problem. In high school, I never heard the term self-love. It never existed in my reality. And in college, I would hear the term every now and then, but I ignored it, because why would I need to know what this self-love thing is when I'm in love with someone and other people make me feel so good? Until I came to a point that, nothing around me was enough. I don't know what this term self-love is. That must be the missing piece. Towards the end of my 4-year relationship in college, and when we graduated, I started feeling really guilty. I started being curious about what it was like to be alone and be independent, be one of those girls I see that are just independent queens. And I kind of wanted that for myself. After a lot of breakups, but then getting back together, I went on a trip to Vegas with my girls, and I had so much fun, and that was the push I needed to finally leave that relationship and start this journey on discovering who the hell I am. So I broke his heart and decided to be in a relationship with myself, and that's when the entire thing began. I started traveling every opportunity I could. I got another job to fill up my time, and I just started going on this rampage of doing things just to do them and just to see what it would be like. And I started being really curious of who I was. During this process, I would have epiphanies left and right, realizations that, oh my God, I actually do like this, or I don't like this, or this isn't who I am, and what I was raised to believe doesn't resonate with me. I became obsessed with discovering who I was. And I told myself, okay, I'm gonna go 1 year and stay single. And that doesn't mean I didn't date, because I definitely dated. Because I think that dating other people is a great way to learn about yourself. Everyone you're interacting with is a mirror. You could also learn a crap ton about yourself when you're by yourself. And that 1 year that I told myself I would stay single became 3 years. My sense of self-worth skyrocketed. It feels amazing to know what you deserve. You understand others more because you know the deep inner work it took to get to this point of you accepting and truly loving yourself. Self-love makes you closer to people. It makes you more empathetic. Self-love isn't I'm better than anyone, I'm the baddest biatch. No, that's not self-love. That's an ego. And to be honest, an ego is what fueled the beginning of my entire self-love journey. I wanted to be that independent, badass bitch that don't need no man. But you know what? That quickly faded because once I started learning about myself and realizing like, I'm really empathetic. I love that about myself. Okay, so enough about my personal journey. Naturally, when you get closer to who you really are, it is such an amazing feeling. When you get to the point of loving yourself, you feel whole. That means you technically don't need anybody or anything to make you feel better. Everything is just a bonus. Not saying that you never feel sadness. I'm not saying that bad things never happen, because that's just unrealistic. But it means that you know that no matter what happens to you, at the end of the day, you're gonna be okay because you have yourself. You've learned how to take care of yourself when you only have you. So we all know that phrase, you can't give what you don't have. Amen. Because I always heard that, but I never understood it. How do you expect to love another when you're so far away from yourself? When you don't even know yourself? They're filling all the voids of you that you haven't yet done yourself. What you don't come to terms with and what you don't heal when you're single is going to spread like a disease in your relationships. And not just your romantic relationships, but every relationship. When you choose a partner, why are you with them? Is it because you really love them? Or is it because you like the way that they make you feel? Is it because they make you feel like you're good enough and you're worthy? That type of codependent attached relationship might feel really great and have its really high moments, but it's going to be a toxic relationship and it's going to be accompanied with the low times. Those toxic type of relationships, which I know all too well, feel like a drug. They feel like bliss because this person is your other half. They complete you. You know, all those lyrics and quotes like that, I'm so sorry, but it's just not realistic. It's not sustainable. You're using this person to get high. People go to the next drug that makes them even higher. That's why a lot of people you see, they fall out of love. They blame the other person like, oh, it's because you didn't do this and that. Have not come across a relationship like that where the people are optimally happy. Everyone around us is settling for relationships that are like that because they feel like, oh, they can't get anything better or no one's gonna love me like this person. But if you establish self-love in the first place, you wouldn't be in a relationship like that. When you're in a relationship with somebody that doesn't love themselves, you need to accept the fact that they don't know themselves fully. And so over time, everything is impermanent, things can change, and that's just one of the risks that you have to take. I'm not saying that you can't love someone else without loving yourself first. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being with someone as they learn to love themselves. But what I am saying is that there will be an imbalance. If not now, it's gonna eventually happen. I've lost a ton of guy friends whose current girlfriends don't feel comfortable with them being friends with me. A lot of them said, don't worry, like she'll come around, like I'm just gonna give it some time. Like really? You think she's gonna wake up one day and say, you know what, you could be friends with her now? No, that's not how it works. If you were to say something later on down the road that you wanted to hang out with me or that you're talking to me, she would probably be like, oh, what? How come now all of a sudden you really want to? And that goes vice versa too, because I've definitely been that crazy girlfriend. That's why I know firsthand. Being jealous and being insecure is normal, but that's your own battle. That's your own demon. And it's okay to tell your partner how you feel, but it's not okay to expect them to enable your behavior and prevent you from growing. Your partner should want you to be the best version of yourself. And so it's totally okay to be with someone or be that person that needs a little extra TLC, but do not make it your partner's problem. Recognize when it's your issue and thank them and love them for being patient with you while you learn to love yourself. When you become aware of how much work it takes to love yourself, you no longer take anything personally. What anyone does to you, what anyone says to you, you realize that it's all because of how they feel about themselves. That's why they're showing up like this. You develop boundaries. You don't settle for things that drain you. You don't let that into your space because you know what that person needs to go through to understand it just like you do. A paradox of life is that most people, including myself, you don't get to this point of being open to receiving this information of what self-love is unless you're feeling dark, unless you're feeling sadness, unless you're sitting in your pain. A lot of people stay in relationships because they love their partner and they see the potential in their partner. When you continue to enable toxic behavior, not only are you doing an injustice to yourself, but you're also stunting their growth. Yeah, it's gonna hurt when you know you deserve better. Like, letting go freaking sucks. It's not empowering, like, oh, I deserve better, bye. When you really love that person, it's so hard. But that person that you let go might not understand. For a really long time, they could blame you, like, oh, you gave up on me, blah, blah, blah. One day they'll understand. If they're meant to come back into your life, then they will. Our egos always want to cling on to instant gratification. We don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel hurt, but that's what people need sometimes to get to a point where they have no choice but to change or to want to grow. A lot of people say my significant other helps me love myself. That could definitely be real. That could definitely be the case. However, what if they're not there? Is the way you feel dependent on what they say to you or how they're treating you? Love yourself. I promise you. All your relationships will transform. It's going to be so much better. It really all starts with you. Every single person in this world is on their very own journey of self. Let go of the fact that you need to feel good all the time. Start creating a foundation that is infinite, a foundation that will truly stick with you all the time, no matter what. I used to pride myself on being so full of love, and that's the reason why I would give people endless chances, because I was so empathetic. But no, that was a beautiful dressed up lie that I was telling myself, because self-love is how you teach others how to treat you. It's how you teach others how to respect you. If you're not respecting yourself, if you're constantly putting yourself in a position where you are being abused or hurt or disrespected, you are not full of love. Maybe you're scared to let go of this person. You found comfort in this toxic relationship and you don't know what it would be like without it. And that's okay, because that is so completely normal and it's understandable. Reality check. How long do you want to feel this? How long are you going to settle for this? Why don't you just tell that person, I need to make myself happy, and if you don't understand that, then you don't love me. If you really love someone, don't you want them to be the happiest they could be? Don't you want them to have friends? Don't you want them to be able to do what makes them happy? Why would you want to be the only thing that makes someone happy? That's a lot of pressure. I feel like people are so beautiful when they're happy. Like when they're truly, truly happy. Anyways, I think I've said enough. I feel tired. Whew, I feel like I said a lot in there, but I hope that it was valuable to you. You know, even if this upsets you, I hope you take a deep look in yourself and figure out, like, why is this upsetting you? Why is this possibly triggering you? Because in reality, if you are happy and if you're completely okay with what you're doing and who you are, then nothing that anybody does or says would affect you, because you're happy. It doesn't matter. You're happy.